Okay, good morning, everybody. When I say healthcare, you say? Childcare. Okay, you got to sit back down real quick. Childcare, sit. Childcare, right. It helps the adrenaline to move in your body, okay? Good morning, everybody. When I say healthcare, you say? Healthcare. Healthcare. Okay, the idea, y'all, is to get the adrenaline moving in the body. Okay. So today we're going to go over some of the administrative things that have to happen in the program so that you will know exactly what to do. I hope at this point that everybody has already gotten their vendor portal stuff done. Yay? Yes? Oh, no. Yes, yes. That's what Lasan. So if it says yes, you have to say yes, yes. Does everybody have all their vendor portal information in through the vendor portal? Okay. So take that note for me, India, that Kathy's group we need to get with the portal. So that's with Helen. But Nicole will be here this morning, so we'll get it straight when she's here. She's speaking this morning. Is everybody else straight? That's the only way you're going to get your money, so y'all better talk up now. Okay, Nicole will help you with that. Right. Okay. So today we will go over language access, we'll go over privacy training, and everybody has to take the privacy training because we're dealing with people's personal information. So Nikki will be here to, go ahead. I ain't got no money in there for you to steal, so it's okay. So Nikki will be here to talk about the privacy training. She will actually take you through the training. And there's a few questions you have to ask at the end, and then you get certified. You'll be certified to do the work that you're doing. And then after that, we will have lunch, and then we'll have an open discussion on any things that you may, any questions that came up in your sleep last night. Oh, I forgot to ask that question. Okay, so it'll be a time to do that. Submission of invoices, language access, and the privacy training. Okay, so. But first, I'm going to ask Lori to come up and share with you the responsibilities, your role and responsibilities and duties as a grantee so that everybody is clear. Come on up. Don't she look pretty today, y'all? She all dressed up.
Good morning, everybody. So just a disclaimer, this is not legal advice. It's just letting you know that this information is just to help you all understand the roles and the responsibilities of the grantees, and really to highlight some of the really large items that are required. So you cannot rely solely upon the information that I'm providing, of course. And if you do need legal advice, it should be from someone that is that is licensed in the jurisdiction and that you have an attorney-client relationship with. Okay, so this is like a large overview of the responsibilities of the grantee. So first, we're doing outreach. That's the #1 thing that we're doing. So we're going to be sending out healthcare for childcare information to our existing contacts. That's why, you all are trusted voices. You all are connected in this area already. We're going to serve as boots on the ground, foot soldiers for healthcare for childcare. We're going to develop competency and operate as a healthcare for childcare subject matter resource. That's for our Tier 3 grantees. So I think there are 2 organizations that will be developing that competency, and that's going to be important because you really are going to be able to dig in and, give that good background information. We're going to be strategic. We want all our grantees to be strategic, so you want to provide information that is both culturally and linguistically appropriate. You're going to host strategic events and engagement sessions, and you're also going to be making recommendations for implementation of additional engagement strategies. So you're going to be coming to us with, new ideas and innovative ways to get the message out and contact and interact with the OSCE licensed facilities. And then you're going to facilitate the warm handoff to the enrollment resources, and you all did a whole session on that yesterday, so everybody's crystal clear on that. You're going to provide your monthly narrative reports on your work plan implementation. I'm going to go over some of these things, like the monthly narrative, a little bit more in some of the subsequent slides, but this is just our overview. You're going to participate in program evaluations by either HBX staff or external evaluators. You're going to record and report statistical data because that's what lets us know, are we in the right direction? Do we need to pivot? And you're going to cooperate with HBX for performance monitoring. Next slide. Okay, so these are some of the grant provisions that have a required submission. So these are the plans that need to be submitted in a timely fashion that's dictated by the grant agreement. So the very first thing is going to be our work plan. The initial work plan is due to the grant administrator, Danica. Oh, well, she'll be here later. It's due to Danica by July 15th. So make sure your initial plan is due to her by July 15th. It does not have to be a perfect plan, but it does need to be a complete plan that is submitted. Yes. Yes. She will let you know all of these types of plans. There is going to be a format. She is going to provide you with assistance and support throughout the entire process. So even when you submit your initial plan, she will work with you to come up with a finalized plan that will then be submitted. And once that plan is submitted, that will be incorporated into and become a part of your grant agreement. The staffing plan, so you're required to maintain and provide HBX with a staffing plan that's going to be based upon your work plan as well as the personnel and non-personnel budget. And then the quality management plan, which is going to have metrics to measure quality, timeliness, and effectiveness of the delivery of services. Next slide. Then the reporting requirements. So the reporting requirements are very important because we want to make sure with this program, like Linda mentioned yesterday, we are on the verge of something new and exciting that really hasn't been done in other jurisdictions. So it's going to be important that we have the data to show how our HC4CC Army was able to perform and get the results that we were looking for. So we're going to have the monthly monitoring report is required. And that's going to be, you're going to work with the grant administrator. She's going to give you the specific format. I think that there may be like a fillable form. I'm not sure. But that you'll submit to her on a monthly basis. There's the semi-annual report, and that's going to be as prescribed by the grant administrator. I know the term for this fiscal year 2023 is not going to allow for a semi-annual report, but it is going to be done at a basis, you know, she's going to let you know prior to the due date, and it's going to be due in January. Okay, so because of the term, it's going to roll into fiscal year 2024, so it may not be under the terms of this specific agreement because this agreement is for 23. And then the language access report. So this is going to be required on a monthly basis. Later on today, in a few minutes, you're going to get the language access training. And so as a part of our language access monitoring, you're required to collect and report data to your grant administrator regarding your encounters with limited English proficient and non-English proficient consumers. So you want to make sure that you're monitoring for that and you're recording when you come into contact with anyone that is requiring you to connect them with a service to receive language support. Then the final programmatic report, that's going to be due 30 days prior to expiration of the grant agreement. The final financial report, which is going to be due within 10 days of termination of the grant agreement. And then the post-grant conference, which is going to be within 60 days of the close of the grant period. So, and the grant administrator is going to be very communicative. You all are going to have weekly meetings, monthly meetings. So all this information is going to come back up. So this is not your last time seeing this information. Okay, so these are the grant provisions that I called it like stop and contact the grant administrator. So if you're going to do any of these actions that are going to be in these next bullet points that are going to come up, you need to stop and contact the grant administrator because you either are required to notify the grant administrator or you're required to seek prior approval before you take the action that's described here. So if there's going to be any personnel changes, so any changes to your program staff, duties, responsibilities, job descriptions, any of that, you need advance approval by the grant administrator. If there's going to be a modification to your budget that's going to have a greater than 10% impact on any line item in your budget, you're going to need prior approval from the grant administrator. If you are going to enter into a sub-grantee agreement, you're going to need approval by the grant administrator and then, well, first review and then approval by the grant administrator. And potentially, I'm the program attorney, so myself as well. Changes to your insurance coverage. So you must provide 30 days prior written notice in the event of change in coverage to your insurance limit or a policy cancellation, and 10 days prior written notice to notify us if there's going to be a non-payment of an insurance premium. Next slide, Alan. So these are additional provisions where we want to stop and contact the grant administrator. If there is an unusual incident, so you must contact the grant administrator within 24 hours and provide written notice to the grant administrator. So what is an unusual incident? It's something that is significantly different from the regular routine. So anything that would cause you all are child care providers, I'm thinking, if something happens to one of your staff, no, y'all aren't providers, okay, well, you are an association of providers, we have one provider in the back. But if something is, normally that does not happen, so if one of your outreach persons are
I have one for you.
Oh, go ahead.
If you're out and you're visiting with some employees and you happen to get hit by a car,
yes,
you know, we need to know that.
Yes.
Because you're doing it while you're on duty. They don't report nothing when you're off duty, only on duty stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even if you are out and, you know, someone takes all of your materials, like there's a theft, or if there is, you know, a physical, you know, problem that someone has that is significant while they were out performing healthcare for child care duties. If you
incident yesterday with LaDon and Jeff up there.
Uh-oh.
You have one of those. She's about ready to beat him up. Beat him up yesterday.
And then we have a second type of unusual incident, and that's, we're going to receive the privacy training later. But if there's personally identifiable information, if there is an incident that is going to compromise someone's personal identifiable information, you need to contact HBX immediately within 1 hour. You need to contact both the grant administrator as well as the HBX privacy officer, and the contact information for the privacy officer is going to be given during that privacy training. So I'm not leaving you hanging here. You're going to get that information. The next thing, if you want to purchase any one piece of equipment or one piece of supply that exceeds $3,000 in value, you need to get prior approval by the grant administrator for that as well, and for customized materials. So most of your material is going to be provided by HBX. Linda's going to provide it, she's going to print it, she's going to give it to you. If there is something that you want that needs to be customized for a specific event that maybe, you know, the material that we have provided is not going to meet the need of that event, then you would need to get prior approval from the grant administrator, and she, of course, will work in conjunction with Linda to ensure that the messaging is appropriate. And that applies to flyers, posters, brochures, newsletters, PSAs that are on the radio or TV, social media, all of those types of postings would need to be prior approved unless it's something that we've already, you know, given directly to you. So these are the documents that are required to be, that you all should have on file, but that also you should have on file with HBX. All of these, I believe, at least number 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 were required with your submission for the your application for the grant. So those should already be there, so you're good to go. But I believe the other items you would still need to provide to the grant administrator, so you want to make sure you work with the grant administrator to ensure that everything that you should have on file with HBX is being maintained on file with HBX. Okay, so now I'm just going to, and once again, this is just a very general overview of our requirements. And so now these are some expectations that we have. So prompt communication, if the grant administrator reaches out to you, there's an expectation that there would be prompt communication, meeting attendance, so this and other meetings that are required under the grant agreement, accurate reporting, of course, that goes without saying, appropriate attribution and logo usage. So when there is, when you use the logo, it needs to say like, there's an attribution statement that is specifically prescribed in the grant agreement, and that attribution statement should be maybe at the bottom or wherever you're providing that information. And of course, partnership, because we are partners. And that is it. So are there, you can go to the next one. Are there any questions based on any of the information that I have provided? Yes, you will get a copy of the presentation. And of course, if you have any other questions, you can direct your questions to the grant administrator. If she's not able to assist, then I will assist. And if it's something legal, like the interpretation of the contract, of course, then you would want to get an attorney to really go through your contract with you and help you to really understand the requirements. Absolutely.
Just to reassure you, when we're giving you all these requirements and this reporting thing, we're going to help you get there.
Every step of the way.
And Lori is the legal person assigned to this thing, so tell them what's the law, you got one right here.
Well, I mean, because, yeah. But I'm more than happy to help. And, you know, if Danica cannot answer a question, then they would always come to me. So we would be able to get you with the correct information. Oh, it's Danica Wilson. Yes, Danica Wilson is the grant administrator. Her information is in the grant agreement. Her telephone number, her email, all of her contact information. And I think Linda gave it out yesterday.
I did.
Yes, okay. So again, D-E-N.
Again, is Danica, D-E-N-I-C-K-A dot. Are they writing it down? Writing it
Yes.
down. The dot. And then there's Wilson, W-I-L-S-O-N, at dc.gov. Now remember, don't call Linda now. Call.
Do not call Linda.
So I just wanted to, for logo usage, if we say we needed to make something, I know we gotta get approval, and but say we wanted to make something for your logo, are there any other logos that it's required to pair with? We've worked with other government agencies where we had to have multiple logos for things like that.
Okay,
The
so
logos
in
will
the
be in the
grant agreement,
toolkit. They'll be in the communication toolkit, all the logos.
Okay.
DC
Okay.
HealthLink logo and Healthcare for Childcare logo.
there you go.
Is there like another agency logo that has to be, is required to go with it?
No, see the one. See the tablecloth. See this little. No, that's no. Because you have to get permission from EOM to do that. So
Do that?
no, you don't have to.
And so, like, also, because she's making me look at the tag, the Healthcare for Childcare and DC HealthLink, do those have to be used together? If one is used, the other has to be used?
No, you don't have to use both together. No,
Okay,
you do
thank
not. But the toolkit will have all those instructions and
Okay.
what colors, palette colors you use, and all of that.
Okay, good.
All of that will be there. It's
Okay,
a
thank
guide.
you.
Any other questions?